I've received numerous requests from viewers to show some ideas for how to turn leftovers into something that doesn't seem like leftovers. So this is the first video in a series that I'll be making. This is a delicious solution for when you have different kinds of meat scraps. And although I'm showing this using pork, you could create similar products using beef, turkey, or other meats. And I'm putting more work into this than most people would ever do for a hash. But when you taste the result, you'll forget all about it having been made from scraps. This is really, really good.
So, looking through the refrigerator, I've got a piece of slab bacon here, a lot of fat on it. I've got the end of a piece of salami. I've got some trim from some Canadian bacon, and I've got a little bit of raw pork neck here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop all these up with some onion. So after cubing this up, I just did a rough sort into what's lean meat and what's really, really fatty meat. Because if we just combine this, we're going to end up with something really gloopy and too heavy. So we're going to cook this separately, and then we'll combine it with that. First, this though with some after about 15 minutes or so, you've rendered most of the fat out of this bacon. I'll take these to the side. Then we're going to drain some of the fat off this pan. Just kind of look at it and see how much is actually in there. We got more fat than we need here, so I'm going to get rid of some of that. Okay, I've left about a tablespoon of fat in it. Now I'm going to put in this raw meat and salami, all the lean meat, and I'm going to cook that in the bacon fat for a few minutes. First, just to brown it lightly. Once we get past where there's no pink raw meat in there anymore, I'm going to add some of the other flavorings. Now, because we've got salami in there, we can't really go in an Asian direction. It'll be weird. So I'm going to put in some red chili, some garlic. I've got some onion here and some celery leaves. Celery leaves are one of those things that tend to get thrown away, not used, but they're actually very good flavor. They have a lot of high notes of the celery. It's almost like a celery herb. I'm going to cook this for a few more minutes to get it all happy. This has been cooking on a heat level of 6. Up till now. Now, if my final purpose of this was going to be a pasta sauce, I would not put potato in this. I'm putting some slices of potato in it because I'm going to try to make this kind of a one-pot product to use. So this will help absorb some of the extra fat, add some flavor and some body, and extend the meat out. I'm also going to add that bacon back into it, and I'm going to crank up the heat a little bit to 8. I want to really get a little bit of singe going on this to add some depth to the flavor. So, got it on high heat here, relatively high heat, 8.5. I'm going to let it sit like this and not stir it for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, now, if you have it and you really want to help out your leftovers, put some demi-glace in. And I've shown this before in other recipes. You make demi-glace, you want it to be very thick, like this. This is demi-glace. This is very thick. And I stir this in with the residual heat. Bottom of the pan's really hot, starting to stick now because I turned the heat up so much. We're going to get this stirred through. If you don't have demi-glace, you could put a splash of veal stock or beef stock or something else in. The demi-glace will help the overall flavor a lot, though, if you have it. Yeah, put it in a dish that I can braise in the oven. I'm going to put rather a lot of cracked black pepper because it's an integral part of the flavor. I'll put a bay leaf on. If I had this branch of thyme here, you don't have to do this. You could just add some dried herbs to it. Whatever you have, that's the whole purpose of this thing, is to use up some other ingredients that you've got, make something new and delicious out of it. So I'm going to put the lid on it, and now I'm going to braise it. It's been just under 2 hours at 140 Celsius. Pull this off and get the thyme and bay leaf out of there. You can check it out. You can see that everything is quite well cooked and soft. I'm going to leave it sit like this cool, because if I continue processing it right now because it's still hot, what's going to happen is it's going to turn into mush. We don't want to make it into goo. Yeah, maybe if we were making a filling for ravioli or something, but we're not going to do that. So I'm just going to leave this to sit now at room temperature, till it comes to room temperature. After having cooled it down to room temperature, I then refrigerated it, make it very cold so that it's not going to break up into a mush. And I'm adding about a tablespoon more of shallot, fresh shallot, not cooked, to it, and a little bit more black pepper. Seems like a lot of black pepper, of course, but it's really the flavor of this. Now we have to grind this up carefully now. Don't overdo it. Now, I got it out of the food processor. I've added 1 egg yolk, and I'm going to gently fold this together. I don't want to grind it up in the food processor because I want the egg yolk to be distributed in a kind of coarse fashion.
Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.